My name is Albert Tan from Download Silo. Welcome to this session of this Birdseed Lifetime Deal Facebook Live. On my right side is actually Drew from Birdseed. So he's the founder of this Birdseed app. And today we are going to talk about Birdseed. What is Birdseed and why it is so powerful. Actually, it contains 12 powerful lead generation tools within one button. So before we actually go into details, the demo or the review or the tutorial, you want to say it, let's do some housekeeping. Let me show you this link. So for those who are actually in a Facebook group, please use this link to give permission to restream so that you can display your name as well as your photo so that we know in the back end of the stream who is talking and who is actually typing in the chat. So let's see who are in the line now, who are in the Facebook. Okay, we see some familiar faces. Sujit, Pong Nam Nguyen, Tuhin Ka. Okay, good afternoon, good evening, guys. So I think we should start now. So without further ado, let me warm up the stage by maybe asking the founder, Drew, what is actually Birdseed? Why do you choose this name? It's just peculiar. Birdseed.
Well, yeah, I guess again, thanks for having me, Albert, and thanks everyone for either watching this live or I guess after the fact. But appreciate your time today. Yeah, so I guess we can start with the name, but I think the name transitions into kind of what we do and where the idea came from. So if you are someone who's into birds, right? If you are a bird watcher or like a birder, I guess they call them, let's say you have a backyard, right? Your house, and you want to see beautiful, wonderful birds in your backyard. I'm not 100% sure because I don't know exactly all the different tools and tricks to drive birds or to bring birds to your backyard. Maybe there's different sounds you can emit. But the big thing is that when birds come to your backyard, right, you want to keep them there as long as possible because they're beautiful, they're important, they're something you value. And so the goal is to offer them something while they're there to stay as long as they can, and then also to come back later on. The problem though is that you don't know what type of birds are out there, right? You don't know who's going to find your yard. And so what you find or what you see with the majority of bird seeds, right, bird foods, is that it's a blend. It's a whole bunch of different foods for different types of birds because you're not exactly sure who's going to be there, and you want to make sure that you attract and keep and get them all to come back. They think of your yard, they want to eat and come back. And so that is in a different way, the exact same premise behind what we're offering, in the sense that website visitors are incredibly crucial, right? We all drive website visitors to our websites or landing pages or sales funnels in different ways, right? There's tons of different ways we drive people to there. But the goal is recognizing today how busy people are, how many things are fighting for their attention. And so the goal is as quickly as possible to make sure that we offer something of tremendous value to them, and only what's of specific value to them, so that they stay as long as possible, that they come back, that at the end of the day, if they buy, right, they buy your product or your service, and they move forward in becoming customers. So that's essentially what Birdseed is, right? We are an all-in-one tool built into what we call an engagement panel. We essentially call it a virtual concierge, if you're familiar with what a concierge is. If you've been to a hotel, a concierge is someone who normally is set up in a lobby and can do anything for you, make reservations, offer assistance, find you tickets, but whatever is only of value to you, you can get from them, right? So, the key is making sure that that thing is particularly offered, or that particular thing is offered, and that you can find it quickly.
Okay, thank you, Drew. So I think I can summarize it into one sentence. You have to give answers to what the potential customer asks. When they come to your site, then you can get
Yep,
the lead
exactly.
as well of maybe eventually the sales, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Mhm. So with that, actually, I mean, the name is very what I call peculiar, but then I think it's a good name. So I will hope that everyone will have a different kind of a food for the different kind of bird that going to your site, so that you can maximize your ROI, in terms of lead generation. So, but with these two, I believe that there are 12 of them, 12 different tools, in this app. And Drew will actually go into detail on how to use them effectively, maybe to 4 times your website leads, with this Birdseed. So before we actually go in, I was just asked one more question. Drew, how long have you been in this SaaS business? Can you tell us a little background of your business, what I call experience, and how you come about creating a Birdseed, from your previous experience?
Yeah, so I've been in the SaaS space for about 14 years now. Um, and I had a previous business in the GPS fleet tracking world that kind of created the experience or the background that I have with this. That experience is what lent me. And by the way, I apologize. I get really bad anxiety when I'm on camera, so I have to drink a lot of water because it creeps up at times. But I had a previous business in the GPS fleet tracking space. And in that world, whew, man, my anxiety is going high. it, it, it gets bad at times. Oh, yeah. Albert, do you mind if we go to my website and I can kind of show you that too so we can get off camera in a second? Does that work?
Can, no problem.
Sure. Okay. Give me just one
Okay.
second, okay? Apologize.
Okay, guys, just give him some time. And before you actually, what I call, go into detail of this Birdseed, you can actually go to the website, have a look. Yeah, Drew is back.
Let me try and work through this. I apologize. Man, I just get such bad anxiety when I'm doing something live. Um,
No
whew.
problem.
You know what? Do you mind if we take just 5 minutes and come right back? Does that work for you, Albert? I apologize.
Yeah, no issue. I will just show them your drill on
Okay.
my screen. I will just show them my screen.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize there.
Okay, guys, let me share my screen. Okay, so maybe I just go through with you very briefly the screen. Hold on. So I will just talk about this $79 Pro Plan lifetime deal. So you can see that from this page, uh, Drew actually explained why he actually do this LTD. This is the last LTD he's going to do because he has done a LTD before, and actually he has actually done it in 2019. And basically, after this LTD, the prices will go up. So, and I'm sure that if you want to buy, this is the best time to buy. If not, maybe you have some other solution, but that's okay. So he has actually a lot of what they call this product update, or maybe upgrade, we say, since 2019. And why do you want to use this what they call Birdseed? As I said, you actually have 12 tools in one button, and it actually, I mean, in my opinion, is a one of the very unique tools in the market, because not many tools have such a what they call long list of engagement tool, or maybe lead generation tools in one app. So, but the only issue, not to say issue, because if you buy one plan, basically you actually suitable for what I call one brand or maybe one website, because you can't do it for different website, because your content will be what I call conflicting, because maybe inside your what I call panel, you will have this knowledge base, then you are talking about other things, and the response could be related to another brand. So best that if you have a few brands, then you need a few codes. Okay, that's it I have. And with this plan, you will have a 12 account members, team members, and branding can be removed over here. And one of the good things which I find that is, you can have do a instant video chat response using this Birdseed. So with that, that is my what I call a short explanation about this one. So let me stop sharing. Okay, Drew, you're back.
Yeah, I'm here. I apologize.
Yeah, no
Sometimes it just
issue.
kind of
So
spikes
why
and
don't you go into the
drank too
back
much of
end
this
of your screen
coffee.
so that you can go into
Yeah,
detail.
perfect. Yeah, let me do that. So going back to kind of what I was referring to before. Can you see my screen, by the way? Can you see my website?
Yes, we can see you. No
Okay,
problem.
perfect. You can see me or the website.
See you on the website. So I'll see
Okay.
you at the what they call the picture in picture. No worry.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm gonna need to turn my camera off though, not because I'm okay at the moment, but the big thing is I probably will have to use my camera here in a second. So if that works, I'll turn that off, or if you want to turn me off. So,
No,
and
I
I
cannot see.
apologize, guys. Anyone who's ever had anxiety, you never know when it's gonna spike. And had a couple cups of coffee this morning, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, it's crazy. So I was in a previous business. If you're familiar with the term GPS fleet tracking, that is where you essentially track company vehicles. And I did that for a number of years, starting in 2007. We would put devices in vehicles, and then those devices would report back to the owners of the companies using our software where the vehicles were, where they are, what they were doing. And so the idea came from the scenario. What we found was that the majority of our customers came to us through our website, meaning what we call the moment of decision was we would drive traffic. Now, this was back in 2007, 2010. We eventually sold in 2015, but the majority of our customers came through the website, usually through pay-per-click. We weren't there wasn't as much social media back then. And when they did, we realized that the typical customer who was a fleet manager, we would start with live chat, right? Live chat was already big back in 2007. And apologize, I'll turn my camera back on for just a second before I get started. And so what we found was that, no, I'm moving all over here. What we found was that when that happened, those people that would come to our website, they needed different things. And we started with live chat, and we found that if one live chat didn't work, right, then we try another one, and then we try another one. And we kept finding that all these people who came to our website were potentially qualified, right? We knew they were in our ideal customer profile, right? They should fit the category of someone who would buy our fleet tracking software, but our conversion ratio was still incredibly low. And so the challenge was, why are all these people coming to our website? We know they should be a fit for what we're trying to sell them, but what is going on? And so that's kind of where we started to think about understanding that different visitors are in different categories, right? Now, people could call them different things, and I'll share my screen again here. But those different categories, in a general sense, we found that this also applies to a lot of businesses, is the first category of potential buyers were early stage. think about your product or your service that you offer today. Now, let me take one quick step back, because you and I talked about this earlier, and this is something that is super crucial just to kind of mention. A lot of times people compare Birdseed or think of it as a support tool, right? They think of it as a help desk. We are not at all. We are a tool to help you in a sales, and sometimes you could also think of it as marketing capacity. We're a tool that you add to your website, and we'll talk about the specifics here in a second. But we are a sales and marketing tool. My dad always said to me, nothing happens until someone sells something, right? There's no one to use a help desk with until you have had them, created them as a customer, right? Or helped them purchase your product or service. So that is what Birdseed is. We just want to say that before we even continue on, just in case a lot of people are thinking, is this a help desk tool? Now, we do have some customers that use us in a bit of a help desk capacity, and they also use us in their application if they have a SaaS. We don't stop them, but we try and create the right expectations about our product. This is a tool to help you create more of the leads, the marketing qualified leads that come to your website or any other branded asset that you have, a landing page, a sales funnel, and help you capture more of those leads. I believe better than any other tool because it's more comprehensive. So as I continue here, we talk about potential leads or potential customers, traffic to your website in different categories. There are a lot of tools like live chat that are wonderful, but for early stage buyers, those that don't know what you offer, your product or service, they're irrelevant. They're too early. When someone comes to your website, depending on how they found you, right, they're still trying to understand what you offer and what you do. And until you provide the information to help them learn that, everything else is irrelevant, right? They're not going to buy. They're probably not going to ask a question because they don't know exactly what it is. So we have tools that we build in, right? We think of those. Our first tool is our knowledge-based tool. Very, very simple questions and answers that can be categorized or put into categories. There's a search functionality. We can actually tell you what people were searching for, what questions were clicked on the most. But each of those questions that help move someone along further down the buying process, right? To help them understand what your product is, so they're closer to buying from you, right? The next tool is our video showcase. We're bringing videos right into, in an easy capacity, right in front of your potential customers. You can embed them from Vimeo and YouTube. You can record them right into Birdseed, or you can use some other third-party embed if you use another software, like Loom, for instance. But we put those videos right there in front of people to help sell them on your product or service. We also have our link launcher. Now, this can be used a ton of different ways. You can trigger third-party live chat if you don't want to use our live chat. Spoiler alert, we have that. We'll get to it in a moment. But this can be anything that you find of value, right? That's a tool on your website or a page on your website. This could be something third-party, but something that is of importance. You can kind of keep it in the ecosystem of our engagement panel. And by the way, again, sometimes I take for granted that someone would understand what exactly Birdseed looks like. This right here is Birdseed, this panel of tools. And we'll talk more about proactive messages a little bit later. Proactive messages pop up on your website. So I'll show you what those look like, but I'll also set them up for you in a few minutes. Proactive messages pop up above your button. They work in concert, but they are not your tools. They help welcome and guide your visitors. They're very, you can set up them very specifically, which is incredibly powerful. So, kind of finishing the concept of link launcher, you can trigger third-party live chat like Intercom and Help Crunch and live chat the product if you want those. Or you can take someone to a resource that is really important for them to understand what it is that you do. One other thing to mention here, in respect to this, we offer 12 tools. No one uses all 12. We wouldn't suggest, it would be overwhelming. It's too much. It's not necessary. And in fact, you may already have some tools. So for instance, if you have Calendly embedded on your website, you would use our link launcher tool to just take them to the Calendly that you already have set up. And you wouldn't need to use our meeting scheduling tool, as I'll talk about in a moment. So link launcher is very customizable and can be used to open up another page or it can take them directly from that page they're on. So that's the first category of potential buyers. The second one is when someone understands better what it is that you offer, right? Your product, your service, but now they're trying to figure out if you are the best solution for their problem, for their need. Now, again, I'm talking in we're trying to keep this as general as possible. We give a whole bunch of examples of industries up here, by the way. This doesn't cover all of them, but you can see Birdseed be used in a lot of capacities. So I'm trying to keep this where you can think about how it might fit in with your business. But when someone is trying to understand if you are the best solution for their needs, they understand what you offer, right? But now they're trying to figure out you versus a competitor, or maybe just another way of doing it. Going back to the idea of our fleet tracking, right? Our business that we had there, a lot of people were in the first category. They didn't even understand what fleet tracking was. If we didn't answer their questions, live chat, creating a free account, all the other stuff was irrelevant. Then they would understand what fleet tracking was, right? They got it. Okay, you put a vehicle, But then they were like, well, what about you versus the other website that I just visited? What about if I just track them doing this? And so we needed other tools for those type of customers or those type of leads. And obviously a very common one is to display testimonials on your website. Not only do we display them, text or video, but we also provide you with a link where you can go out and actually generate those testimonials. The power of showing 2 or 3 people, not just that they chose you or your product or your service, but how they actually use it is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And with a lot of these tools, you'll see that you can add a lot of content to them, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to do a ton. Even having 3 testimonials can be enough for someone to understand how your product or service can be used for their needs. So then the next thing for those trying to understand you as the best solution for their needs is our then announcements tool. There's a whole bunch of other tools out there, and this tool can be used in a lot of different ways. You have to think about how your business might use it. You can use it for maybe recent news that you want to display and curate your own feed, right? It could be upcoming events that you're going to partake in. You could even use it in a static capacity. So for instance, if you are someone who has a 6-month engagement with a customer, you could set it up to show a mock timeline of what that might look like. You can allow people to enter their email address. They can upvote things. They can add media to it. So it's incredibly customizable, but very, very simple to use. At the end of the day, the real value here is to create a relevancy, right? Is to create a to look up to date, right? If you show recent news from 3 days ago, someone doesn't have to worry about, is this website out of date? Is the business out of date? Are they even in business? Are they doing things? So it's a wonderful way for your potential customers to relate to you or your business. Our final tool in this, what we call category, is a tool where you can collect information, right? We have our star rating. We have our sentiment-based collection tools. Super simple. You set up questions in a line that people can answer or not answer, right? They can skip it if they choose to, but they can provide information about you, about their experience on the website, about the industry, about your product. You could use it in whatever capacity you want, and you'd be surprised, especially because it's so there's so little friction there, that people are very apt to provide you. We get them all day long. Feedback about what people are doing, what they're using. So that's the first way, right? To collect information. The second way is really that you can educate your customers or potential customers. So we have a multiple choice option. And of course, that also means true, false, right? So you can, in a very simple way, quiz people. Now, keep in mind that we're talking about a tool here that needs to be used very easily and very quickly, because these are leads on your website. These are not people you've sent out a survey to. This has to be something that someone can find and within seconds move quickly through it. So it needs to be very simple in nature. But you can ask a multiple choice question, right? You can intro that even with a video to make it personal. if you've noticed, we use video in a lot of different places throughout our product, and I'm happy to show you and kind of give examples of that later on as well. But you're able to, ask a question, intro that with a video or an image or a GIF, and then for each one of the answers that someone chooses, right, true, false, 1, 2, or 3, you can then actually have a response to their answer. So it gives you an opportunity. So for instance, let's say you ask about what would you expect to pay for this service? You could have 3 different answers. You're only one of them, right? Presumably. And so 2 of the answers, you can explain why you are not that price point. But then with the third one, validate their answer and why they made essentially the right choice. Okay. I know I'm taking a ton of time here because when I go to set up these tools, I'm not going to go through every tool. That could take a little bit of time, but I think explaining the potential use cases on someone's website is crucial. So that's the second category, right? Early stage was the first. The second category was those trying to understand if you're the best option for their needs. Our third category is those that are ready. They're further along or far enough along in the sales process to want to communicate with you. Now, based upon their preference style or maybe the specific needs of their question, they may want to do this different ways. Okay. Now, this is when you are there. Our product is typically best case used for small businesses. So we'll talk more about this a little bit later, but our product can be set up very customizable. And one of those ways is to only show tools during working hours if you want. You just choose when you're available, right? Calendar based. And then you can say, and so all of these tools, right? More than likely you would only show when you're available to respond real time. So our first tool is our call request tool, right? Our call request tool is a real-time experience for someone to simply answer or provide. It could just be as simple as their phone number, or maybe you want to ask 1 or 2 other questions like their name, their need, something that when someone takes it on the back end, they may have a little bit more context as to what their needs are, so someone can choose to take that call. Now, we do not include the phone service, right? Because 1, that could add to our cost, and we don't want to have to pass along additional costs. And 2, people usually have phones these days. And in fact, most people, inclusive of ourselves, we have a physical phone in front of us, but with DialPad, you actually have an app on your phone, so you even could use it from your cell phone as well. So the phone service most people have, but what we are creating is the real-time experience for someone to create that, hey, I entered my information, call me right now, the instant connection. Similar to a live chat, someone would then see that. You might have a team member on the back end. They can say, I'm going to take that phone call. And now if you have a profile picture set up, the person will know, presumably within 30 seconds, right? You click the button and it shows the profile picture and the name of the person that's going to be calling them, usually within 45 seconds, 90 seconds, whatever it might be, right? So it creates a real-time experience to make it simple and comfortable for both parties. That's our call request tool. Our live chat, relatively self-explanatory. It's text-based. We see it pretty much anywhere and everywhere. It's very commoditized seemingly these days, but a crucial tool when you're available. Now, I'll talk about and show this to you in a moment, but one of the things that we patented and most people do not understand, it's in our top plan, our pro plan, which we're including in our very short-term lifetime deal that we're offering. It is included. Everything's included that we have. And so the one thing that we offer is our instant call request, our instant responses, instant video responses. But I'll talk about that in a moment. And that is built into our live chat tool. That's at the bottom, so I'll kind of show it to you in a second. And then we have our phone contact, right? Self-explanatory, super simple, but it can also be really valuable in context. So you can show different either locations, different departments, different phone numbers. We're actually building right now the ability for you to actually click a button, which will only show on mobile, and it will then open up their default SMS, app. And if you have a SMS or a text messaging capability, someone can start a text conversation with you here as well. But you can show an address if you want. It could be your specific address if you have a physical location, or it could just be more of a general location, right? Like I'm in this city, I'm in this state, I'm in this country, just to give context as to, who you are and where you are. People always really appreciate that. And then your hours of operation, so they can see, exactly, when you're available. The nice part too, which is maybe something that a lot of people don't think about, is that 5 years ago, we used to include our phone numbers right in our header, right? And it always take up very valuable space. It was static. It was always in the way. And the worst part was, you'd see a phone number on a website at 8 o'clock, but they closed. No one's available. So you call and then they're closed, and it's frustrating. The nice part about this is that you can show your phone number and the availability for someone to call you until, like, let's say 5 p.m. At 5:01, it hides, but now we have other tools to help move and further the relationship down the line. So it provides an always relevant experience for your users where they're going to find something to move their relationship along. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And then the final category, kind of transitioning to what I was saying there, is that this is something that I think we don't think about. We're oftentimes driving traffic, and this was huge for us, huge, because we would have pay-per-click going at night, early in the morning, on the weekends. And actually, it was less expensive during those times as well. But a lot of our fleet managers were looking for our product, but we were open 40 hours a week, right? A lot of small businesses are open 9 to 5, whatever that looks like for where you are. And you're not available real time, but you can't lose those leads. You have to have things working on your behalf when you're not available. So the first thing is that we have a schedule meeting tool. It's relatively basic by design, but it allows someone at any time to say, hey, I want to check the box, right, of scheduling a call with this business to have a meeting set. You're able to set your hours of operation, sync it with Google Calendar to block out those times. And then you can also sync it with your Google Calendar right afterwards. But it allows them to find a time that works for them based upon your availability as well. You can have multiple meeting types if you want. But again, the goal is for someone during the day when they're in a hurry, or after hours when they want to move things, and progress things and feel like they got something done, they can do that. They can schedule a meeting. Think about this. If you're a business, right, and there's 2 other websites that a potential customer might go to at 9 o'clock at night, those other 2 customers have nothing available to them late at night when they're not available real time. But you can schedule a call with them. You've just oftentimes won the customer. You didn't do anything necessarily to get their business that moment, but you've established the relationship. You've moved forward in some capacity. So it's incredibly crucial when we think about potential business. Email capture tool, self-explanatory, but super important for us to have these days. You're exchanging your email address as a visitor for something. Could be a downloadable guide. It could be signing up for news, whatever it might be. It's kind of a soft, touch, if you will. But your opportunity to really create something of value for us, it was 5 things you need to know about fleet tracking. We wanted to establish ourselves as the trusted advisor. So even if you didn't choose us, you would know what to look for. Now, of course, those things were really geared towards exactly what we had to offer, right? But we also knew that there was a lot of things that someone would need to look for in a solution such as ours. By the way, just like a lot of other tools that we offer, and you'll see this here as we go into setting it up, for the email capture tool, you can add and record a video right there in Birdseed to introduce that in a personal way, to explain what it is they're offering or you're offering as a business and why they should want it. Same thing with our contact form, right? Just like all of the forms that we offer, the fields are customizable, not just what fields, but what you call them, the types of fields that you offer, but you can make it personal. Our button can be available on any page, always available, but never in the way. And so your contact form, instead of embedding it in a specific page and hoping they find it, you can have it available at all times, never, right there where they have to see it, but always so they can see it. You can also include a video at the top so someone can know exactly who it is that will be responding to them. And I can even show that to you here in a moment. Albert, you're still with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I'm almost finished, and then we'll wrap up. I just wanted to kind of explain our instant video responses. Super crucial. I don't know that it'll work because I've got a lot of different cameras going on here. So I'll try and explain it. We believe that the future of connecting people that may never meet would be to find a way for them to connect visually in a human way. And we did this years ago. We believed in this years ago, well before what's happened the last 2 years, unfortunately, and kind of forcing people to not be able to be together. And so I patented back in 2018 the idea of being able to natively record a video right within a live chat to send to someone. So we always liked the idea of visual video chat streaming, but there's a lot of challenges. And I'll go through them super quick. The first thing is for visitors, they may not have a video camera that they just have available to them to use, especially if they're on their phone. Also, a lot of times they don't want to be seen on camera, right? You can see I didn't even want to be seen on camera at first. I mean, maybe their anxiety spikes like me. And so whatever it might be, if they just want to ask a quick question, they may not want to be seen. Now, the operators on your side, right, as a business, you may not be in an environment that's comfortable. You may not be sure who's going to be walking by, what can be seen. So being in a long chat, that might be problematic. You might not also, again, because it's relatively obtrusive and disruptive, you may not want to be stuck in a long video chat, right? You may not want to have to, not knowing exactly what someone's asking for when they come to your website, you may not have time for a 30-minute video chat. And also, you're not able to do anything else, right? There's no way to multitask or even respond to multiple people. So with Birdseed's instant responses, there's 3 use cases that we typically see, but you are, if and when it is appropriate, you're pressing a button, recording a video. If you don't like it, redoing it, and then instantly sending it to the visitor. And you can see kind of an example of it right here. You can also do it from our mobile app, but you can welcome and introduce people to live chat so they know exactly who they're chatting with in a human way. If there's a question that someone asked and you need to explain it further in a way where either they would have just disconnected if they don't like the answer, or you needed to make it a little bit more, provide empathy so that they could understand in more of a human way. And then the third way is a lot of times at the end of chats, it's I got what I needed, goodbye. But it allows you, again, in a human way to say, hey, it was wonderful talking with you. How about if you do this now? It's a lot easier to tell someone no when we see them in front of us. Now, this isn't perfect, right? We're not actually, but this is as close as you can possibly do in a way that's comfortable for both parties. So that's our instant video chat responses. What would you like us to go to next, Albert? I know it took a lot of time, but I thought it was super crucial for people to understand, kind of exactly what it is that we offer, built into Birdseed.
Yeah, Drew, maybe you can go to the back end of the app and show them what you want to show them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go to sign up, right? I'm just going to do this as quickly as possible. We'll just call this Facebook call. I'm not a robot. I'm going to send myself an activation link so you can see exactly how easy this is to set up an account. I just got a link in my email, so I'm now going to open this over here. And then I will put in a password. Now I'm going to continue to my dashboard. Okay. In order to get Birdseed live on your website, there are essentially 3 steps. And it's super important for someone to understand this, because you could see 12 tools and go, oh, that could take hours and it's just overwhelming. And it's really not. The 3 steps are essentially to choose your engagement tools, which we'll go through here in a second. Customize what your panel looks like. And we keep that very simple so that it can feel native to your website or any other digital asset that you add Birdseed to. We keep that very, very simple by design. And then you simply add 1 line of code. So we start with an overview video. I don't really need to watch the video. I'm pretty familiar with what it says. And from here, we're going to customize our tools. So this, when I click on choose tools, this is going to take me to the customize tools area. Now, I think it's really appropriate at this point. A lot of times people ask about this and they say, well, can I have more, can I use this on multiple domains, right? Multiple websites. This right here is the reasoning and the rationale of why we're a little different than other tools. A lot of live chat products that we get compared to, it's super simple, right? You just add another, widget, if you will, give it some header text, give it a color, and it's the exact same experience. And then you just add a separate line of code and you're on a different website and you're good to go, right? The problem is with Birdseed, or I would say actually the opportunity, with Birdseed, you'll see that you have a ton of different tools built into a panel. Each of those tools have a lot of customizable components to them. And it's also connected to other parts of our app. So for instance, our meeting scheduling tool, because there's so much to just the setup, of this product, there's another area where you actually manage those event types, right? If I click on this, it's now going to take me to setup. I have one meeting to start with. And even just that meeting has a lot of settings. If I want to add another meeting type, I click right here. But the point being that the core of our product is our engagement panel. So each account comes with one engagement panel. We're not trying to get people to have more than one account, buy more than what they want. But if you look at the product, you'll see that it becomes very difficult. It would be a complete redesign of our UI and our UX. And so at this point, that's what we offer. If you wanted to have an additional account, you could click right down here. You click right here, and then you could add another account, which would instantly create the account, drop you in the account, and you could switch in between your accounts within seconds. So just wanted to proactively answer that because that is by far the most common question that we get asked. And if you needed multiple panels, the simplest way would be to have multiple accounts if you're setting this up for your business. So this is where you set up your engagement panel. By default, we start with 5 tools. These 5 tools of the 12 are what we start with because they can be actually ready to go out of the box, right? They're ready to use right now. You can customize the text, and each of these can be used within minutes. So the first ones are live chat. Each of them are set up to kind of work for any business or organization. The first one is our live chat tool. The second one is our contact form, our request a call tool, our email capture tool. And by default, we set that as, just simply join a newsletter. Provide your email address and we'll provide you, we'll keep you up to date with our news, add you to our email list. And then scheduling our meeting. Each of these you'd want to, at a minimum, customize the text, but you can absolutely personalize them. You'll also notice that some of these say working hours only by default. Okay, now you can change that, right? The request a call, I can set that and show it always if I want to, or I can say after hours if I want to, but that really wouldn't make any sense because I wouldn't be available to take the call request. But you can change that and you can see what's available during working hours. If there's nothing showing here, that means that it displays all the time. Okay, you can let's do a couple things here. So I can create a group. If someone were to say, well, 5 tools feels like a lot, I can create a group, give that group a name. So let's call this contact options. And then I'm also, let me hit save here. Now you're going to notice that nothing really visually shows or changes on your panel. And that's because I haven't added any tools to it yet. You drag and drop your tools just by clicking right here or by holding down the button right here. So I'm going to hold this down and drag it to the tools, this tools group called contact options. And I'm going to drag this one as well. I'm also going to drag the contact form. Now that's just, you can call your groups whatever you want. Sometimes it could be like learn more about us. In fact, on our website, you'll see that. You can group your tools however you prefer to. And with those tools, you are able to then create a second layer, a second level that someone can go into, but it helps to not overwhelm them with options they see initially. Now I'm also going to press this button right here. A lot of times people always feature, they press a lot of them. The only thing that we're doing is trying to have that stand out. So we always suggest usually 1, at most 2 options that are featured, right? The rest are seen. It's just that you want one to kind of stand out. And oftentimes when there's a group, that's a really easy way of doing it. So let's first check out our email capture tool, right? And I'm going to create a video right here. I might need to turn my camera off for this so that it works. So should I turn my camera off? Is that easiest?
Yeah, you can turn it off.
I don't know how that will look on the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna hit record video. It's always hard when the camera. Let me refresh the page. It was already using my camera. So let me see here. See, I'm seeing this still. See if this will make it work. Maybe if I come back to it. I was recording videos earlier, so I know there's no issue here. Let me see here. Yeah, see, it looks, I've got the recording screen. Take one more second and then, so let me go to my, all right, sorry. These are one of the things that when you go into a live demo, let me try this one, see if it'll load.
Do you have two cameras?
I do, but the other one is really kind of to the side, so I don't know if it'll work as well. Let me try that one instead.
Okay, but I think you have to use the other camera that is not tied to this restream, or else it will conflict.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I can't really bend this one down, but you can kind of get the gist here. Okay. Also, that one doesn't redirect. Hi, my name is Drew, and I am the founder of Birdseed. If you want to find out why we are such a great product, we send out weekly updates to let you know exactly what we are offering, and we'd love to add you to that list. Just enter some information below, and we will have you on the list. Okay. So let me turn that one back off. Again, and your video presumably would look better. What we're first going to do is create a GIF that makes it look a little bit more engaging. As well, and then we'll embed that video into the top as kind of the the header now of that tool. Excuse me. So the reason why is I can't really bend that thing down, and I've got one of those standing desks. So yeah, just imagine that it would presumably look better. So let me hit save here. And you'll see that now the top of this, and when we get this thing live, you'll see exactly how that will look and work. Let's customize some of the fields. Let's say all these are required. Let's make the phone field not required. And then let's change company to your organization. We have a number of different field types that you can do. And the purpose of those is really the way they look and the validation behind them. So for instance, if you have a phone field, it's going to validate for a phone. If it's an email, it's going to check to validate that it validates for an email. So let me hit save here. And you'll see that now it says your organization, the phone field is not required. Okay. In fact, you know what, just for fun, we have to have, you'll see that there's no way to delete this email field because with the email capture tool, that's kind of the core value proposition. So I'm just going to remove this, hit save. And now we'll actually only be asking for 3 fields. Okay, so let's say, now, let's go back to the live chat and let's just add an image to the top of that. So there's a number of things you can do to add media, right? I can add a photo. I can actually search on Giphy and add a GIF there. I can upload my own GIF. I can record a video as you saw. I can download, or I can embed a video or a custom embed. In this case, let me just add an image here. Again, this was just something I found on Unsplash, so it's just a free, you can create your own, upload your own. But just to show you an example here. So you'll see now that is kind of the intro. I know a lot of people, are looking for less friction as it relates to live chat these days. We really try and keep it simple. So you just really have to ask at a bare minimum, someone's name. I'm actually going to hide their last name. So all they really have to do is actually answer, their first name. And you could even change that to, what would you like to be called, to really make it simple for someone to start the chat. Let's see here. Okay, let's do 2 more tools before we get this live. Now, one thing I did not show, we talked about how to add groups. We talked about how to reorganize these. It's all real time where you can kind of update the panel. You saw that just kind of transferred. All of my tools are available to me right here, which I already kind of went into detail on how they work. But let me do knowledge library, right? Let me add something simple. So I'm first going to give it a section name, right? You can call it whatever you want, but we're going to call it section here. And we'll say, we'll call this common questions. And then we'll add a question. We'll say, how fun is this product? This product is so fun for 3 reasons. Price, features, functionality. Okay. So I'm going to highlight this. And it's just right drag. It's like the markup is, right click to get your options there. And then we keep this very simple by design, by the way. Okay, you know what? So that's down here. I'll come into the question. Okay, so it looks like we have removed. Well, we actually have a way to create this. We need to add back the feature here, but you could create where it automatically creates a category. So we'll look at that afterwards. There's a lot of different areas where you can add customizable text, and some of the ability to to add the HTML or the ability to customize the text is different. The price, the functionality, the features. Okay. So I'm going to update the item. Let me just give it maybe a fun GIF. Type fun. I'll add this GIF right here. And now it is at the top of my question. I'm going to hit update FAQ item. When I click on this, you'll see that now it is right there. So let's do one last thing before we get this thing live. Let's add our showcase video tool. It's always going to add it to the bottom. So once I see this, I'll have to move this. I always think it looks best to have the button at the bottom. Some people, you can choose however you want it. But if I click on this, let's say now I have some. I pulled up I found a channel where someone answers questions that are law questions. So let's customize this tool for a moment as if this was for a law firm. Okay. Let's say for law questions. Now you can have obviously your own, YouTube page where you can pull these videos from. If you want a little bit more customizable look and feel, that would be Vimeo. So I'm gonna add a video here. This first one I'm gonna embed. Let's call this.
Hi.
Okay, top 3. This video is 55. No, let's see. This is an ad. Hold on one second.
My name is Susan, and I am the current one out.
2 seconds here.
Hey guys.
Okay, so it's a 9-minute video, right? To add the video, we're going to just add everything after the V equals here. So I'm going to copy that in. It's 9 minutes and I think it's 4 seconds. So let me go here. What was this? Top 3. We'll just call it top 3. 9 minutes, 5 seconds, but by the way, you'll understand the point of that. All right, we'll click right here. I'm going to add media. I'm going to embed YouTube. So YouTube's already chosen by default. I'm just going to copy that in. And now you'll see that that is embedded into the video.
Hey guys, welcome to Associate Tribe.
So that's the first video. Let me add one more just so we have, two videos there. We're adding, by the way, in probably the next couple of weeks, the ability to choose how they start and also have videos play on mute by default. So some people just want to show the video. Some people want it to be more engaging so that it shows, and we're adding in those options here. We actually already built them a ways back, but we kind of pulled them out. So, but we're going to be adding them into the UI in this area so that you can add them here very shortly. So it's really a lot more customizable. All right, so let me.
Hey guys, I'm
even YouTube, auto starts theirs and gets.
Industry and being a lawyer in general are infamous
for
their high levels of difficulty and confusion.
Law firm hiring promises. This is 721. Okay, so here is the code. Just copy that in. I'm just going to call this law firm promises. I don't remember exactly what it was just a second ago. We'll just call it 10 seconds because the premise still applies. But you can choose how it shows. This is also an example, by the way, of you can customize the text on the front end to anything you want and including any language. So I know a lot of people ask about that. We don't offer the ability to have multiple languages, but you can choose it in whatever language you want. Okay, so let me add in this one. Embed the video, updates the video, or the showcase.
Hey guys, welcome to Associate.
Let's change the icon just for fun.
Hey guys.
Oh, you know what? I've got the autoplay. We actually did add one of those features right here. So let me turn that off. Okay. So you'll see it's turned off there now. Just toggle that off. Okay. I probably actually want to set that as autoplay turned off by default because that's how I prefer it. But depends on what you want. Now in the setup, obviously it's a little bit distracting, but because it's triggered by somebody clicking on it, they know what they're getting into. There's nothing that auto plays on someone's website ever. We don't just start. Google doesn't like that. The search engines don't like that. So there's nothing that auto plays volume. Okay. So I think we have everything we need as a starting point. Let me go back. We've got the tools. We're in the customize panel settings. Just for time purposes, because I know this is starting to be a long time of setting this up. This is where all of your settings are. I won't go through each one of them, but what I will do really quickly is just change the color so it looks a little different. So you can see how easy that is. But I'm going to change it to like a red. Oops, wrong area. I'm also going to change the button to this and hit save. And now you'll see that everything is red, and you can't see it here, but the button will actually be that bell. You can also customize by uploading your own custom button, and you can also use custom text to the side of it as well if you want to keep text there to make it a little bit more engaging. But I'm not going to do that for right now, just to keep it simple. Okay, so we have set all the tools that we need for right now. We have customized the panel a little bit. There's certainly some other things that we can do after the fact. One thing I am going to do, a lot of times we also get asked, are there a lot of resources that are added to your website? I would say that there's very, very little. We have spent a lot of time optimizing speed over the last couple of years. So I think it loads incredibly fast. You can check out our website. We have a ton of tools active. It loads within half a second. But just for the purposes here, if you choose after scrolling, which I am going to do, literally you'll see if you were to look at some sort of speed test that essentially no resources are added. I think we're comparable, if not better than any other third party, add-on that exists in the market to begin with. But this makes it kind of a no-brainer because literally almost nothing gets added. So I'm going to set that. Okay. I think we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to go through and add this to a website. You'll see once I clicked on these, each one of them kind of, finished. So if you go to install options, you'll see that we can copy our embed code, that one line of code, very, very simply. We also have some installation videos for different, areas that you can, or different builders that you can add your Birdseed to, including WordPress, where we have a WordPress plugin that you can search for. But it's super, super simple. Oh, I forgot about one thing, and this is very, very important. Proactive messages. I talked about it before, but I want to show it to you really quickly. Won't spend a ton of time on setting one up in a very customized fashion, but I will go over the settings that you can add. So by default, right, the challenge that you have with Birdseed and really a lot of products is, I think we're definitely accustomed these days to the bottom right-hand corner being, maybe, you're used to seeing intercom, right? The button. So you kind of know what it is, but you still don't know what's involved, what's included. Our proactive messages is a starting point, right? You'll see right here that this shows all of the active tools. Okay. So we don't want to be overwhelming and distracting to someone, but we do want them to know what's available to them. So by default, if you were to change nothing else, you can create a proactive message. So I'm going to say main message. I'm going to enable this because we'll see it here. Now, I can have this show on any page by leaving this blank. I can also have this on an exact match page. This is something we added about 2 months ago, or anything that starts with. So for instance, all of your blog pages might be your domain.com/blog. If you want to apply to all of those, you do the starts with match. You can add media here, which I am not going to do. I think I've already kind of done this. So I will not do it. I'm going to keep it to the tools for right now. I can also add some introduction text, right? So I actually will add that, make it a little easier. And then by default, all of your active tools will show. So you don't have to customize what shows. If it's not available, if it's turned on at that time, it will show by default your active tools. If you want, though, for specific pages, you can highlight just specific tools, right, to make it, if you feel like it's more appropriate. As example, I think on our pricing page, we are just highlighting the contact form, but we customize the text for the button in the proactive message that says, ask us a pricing question, right? Just linking to that tool. So if you have different pages where there's different intent, you can add that. You also can, we did not do this, but I am going to, I will do this very quickly. I can go, let me save this so you can see how easy it is. I'm going to close it. Sorry, but I realized I did not do this. You can add your profile picture super simply, or super simple. I'm just going to add my profile picture. Hit save. You'll see it replaces right there, but also as it relates to the proactive message, now I can go in and display my image here when I can display my image when that is turned on. Let me go back to adding the active tools. Okay, hit save and preview and see what we got here. Okay, so you'll see that when this proactive message is open, I've got that text that we added. We've got our active tools, and now my profile picture displays to make it a little more personal. The moment they close this proactive message, as you'll see, it will now go back to just the button and then they can trigger the panel if they don't want any of those options to begin with. A couple other additional settings, we hide them by default, but really, really powerful. You can display this message to all of your visitors, or just new, or just repeat. I can display it the always, or just have a message for during your working hours or after hours. So for instance, you could record a video that says, hey, we're here right now. Here are the specific things that we have, right? Have a separate video after hours that says, look, I'm not available at the moment real time, but here's what you can do right now. Those can work in concert, but they can display differently at different times. You can also have a message display everywhere, or just have it be available on desktop or mobile, which is very helpful depending on what you're including. A message like this might not be appropriate to display because it's so large on mobile, depending on how your website's set up. But then from a timing perspective, I'm just going to keep everything by default here, but just to show you the options, you can have it wait, display after a certain amount of time. You can have it stay open or auto close after a certain amount of time. So if someone says, hey, I don't want to interact with it, but I want it to go away, you can have it turn off within 10 seconds. You could choose a repeat threshold, right, where it only shows up so many times. So if you kept this to where it displayed on any page, you could set that at 20 minutes. And if they're on your website 20 minutes, it wouldn't display again during that time frame. And then you can add in your UTM parameters as well. So if they're coming from, product hunt, for instance, it would just, you'd add those in to the message, and it would display specifically for the product hunt audience. So tons of settings there. All right, so we're done there. We've got everything ready to go. Let me show you how to add this. Super simple, super easy, and we're live. So I've got a Card account. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Card. It's a platform where you can very affordably create essentially one-page websites, or some people might call them landing pages, but it can serve as a very simple website if you want it to. I'm going to create a new site, and I'm just going to go with one of the templates we have here. Let's go with random product. So I'm going to choose that here, and I'm going to go into the plus. I'm going to go to embed, and I'm over here. This is code. I'm not going to title anything because it's going to be a hidden line of code. I'm going to do it at the body end, so it's not loading in your header first. It'll load last. And let me go back to panel settings, and then go to, add install code. By the way, in this area, you're able to choose where and when you want your button to even display. So by default, it's going to display everywhere. But if you want to limit it to not show on specific pages or only show on specific pages, you can do that. So we go back to my install code. I'm going to copy to my clipboard. I'm going to add this here. And then let me hit done. I'm going to hit save. And we'll call this test. Nothing really. I'm just going to save this as a template. I'm going to hit save. Let's view the demo. So there's Birdseed, live on your website with a ton of different tools. Now we have the proactive message that shows up right there, letting someone know exactly what's available to them. I'm going to close it for right now, but you'll see that I can press this button and I can schedule a meeting. I didn't go through all the different settings, but I can now schedule a meeting. I can, I've got the video I can watch right here. Hi, my name is Drew, and I am the founder of. With the updated fields that I added, I've got my knowledge base with my first question that I added. What else do we have here? The videos that are not displayed by default, are not auto started by default, so I can go and choose those. I also can press this button and make them larger on the website if I want to. And then what else do we have? I can click here, which will now take me to a group of options, including live chat that I showed and a couple other things. That is pretty much everything that we got. I know we went way long into this, and I'm sure there's probably some questions.
Yeah, Drew, this is very comprehensive so-called tutorial, It's no more a demo, It's like almost a complete tutorial. But of course, there are so many tools. some of the tool you actually go into very detail, like the video features. I like the video
Yeah.
features. I didn't know that it has so many option to choose. Especially you can actually what they call embed it as well. So
Yeah, I mean, and I definitely didn't show even everything, but that's the challenge that we always have, right? Is there's so many features that besides having a full-blown panic attack, which I was close to, I which I've only had one, and that was like 10 years ago, but that was up there. But anyhow, there's a lot of different things involved in the product, and it's hard because, especially with ours, in a general sense, people think it's more support. It's certainly not. But also understanding how the different features work in concert is really, really crucial. And there's so much more I could have shown you, but until you see how you can, as an example, record a video right into the product, or choose the settings, it's just, you almost have to go through a bit of a full walkthrough for someone, for them to understand really how much is involved.
okay, that's fantastic actually. So I think we have quite a number of questions. Why don't we take I project up the question, then you can answer it down.
Sure.
Can you read that?
Yes, I can. So does Birdseed allow team members and workspaces for better collaboration and project management? I always get a little weary about the term project management because, I try to really make sure that I'm clear about what our product is. Our product is solely a tool, right, for your website or your digital asset on the front end to, to kind of, as I said earlier, be a virtual concierge. And, so yes, we do. We have a field. So when you create your users, there is another area. Right now, it's up to 15 users. Part of that is that we just really want to make sure that the people know that the audience that this product is designed for is for small businesses. This is not an enterprise product. If you want to spend a fortune and you want the a ton of the things with Intercom, they'd be happy to work with you. Or other tools. This is for smaller businesses. But with 15 users, especially for your call request and your live chat, which are real-time tools, what we can do is help you to manage who takes those real time and who gets those. So once you've added your users, you can create teams, give the teams a name, and then there is what we call a teams field. So for instance, with the live chat, you could say, choose from the drop down location A, location B, location C, right? What you would do, and I could show you this, but I mean, this has already been such a long demo. And again, I thank you all for either are watching this still or that have stayed on, because I know this is incredibly long and I really appreciate your time. But the teams, what you can do is essentially assign a team to an answer, right? So let's say location B. And when the user chooses location B, only the people that are part of that group will then see the live chat, right? Get notified about the live chat. So that is how we really, I guess, filter, if you will. And they'll only show up in the inbox for those particular users or assigned to that team and those users. But that is probably, the most in which we do from a team capacity.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Hopefully that answers your question. If not,
Yeah,
feel free
I
to.
think you answered the question actually very detailed. So, but I think you're talking about collaboration in terms of project management is outside the scope of this this concierge tool.
Now, just to reiterate with workspaces, right? I showed you how you can have multiple accounts. So the way that works is, we went through the entire thing, right? You, as your first user on an account, you are now kind of the main admin on your account. If you create another account from your username when you're logged in, now you are the first user on that additional account. You can add additional users that can also be on those accounts. And when they log in, they will see their accounts as options, right? So people can be a part of multiple accounts easily. A whole nother conversation, which we'll probably get to, but it works in concert with this, is that if you are an agency and you are signing up, let me just show you this really quickly, because this is unfortunately crucial. I think a lot of people on this call probably are agencies. So if you want to sign up as an agency, when you and it's hard because we don't want to make it hard for someone to sign up as an agency, but we also don't want to confuse people by making it way too easy, right? So need to sign up as an agency, click this link, right? And you click down here, enter your agency name and your first email. This will create your agency dashboard for you, okay? You are the first user on your agency dashboard. Now, I already have one here, so I'm going to log in just to show you what this looks like. Kind of like a demo agency. But if you are an agency, what we provide to you, totally free, no commitments. There's nothing you really have to do here. Let's see if this works. You are gonna start with an agency dashboard. This would have no accounts when you first log in. Creating a new account, you just click right here, give it a name, and then it will show up here on your dashboard, right? It'll show up right here. If you want to go into your account, you click the link. It would drop you in your account like if you were any other user. If I want to get back out into the agency dashboard, I click on this button, which we add for agencies. My point is when somebody talks about workspaces, right? If you are using your own workspaces for your own business, it would have been the first way I showed you, right? Log in, create your account, create additional from your existing account. If you're an agency who is trying to create accounts for your customers, you will use our agency dashboard to create, as I just showed you, manage, or first, I guess, access, and then manage your accounts. Just to wrap up this conversation, you can add additional agency users that are not counted towards any of your account users, right? They're not even seen necessarily on the account by your admins. But you also cannot participate in the account unless you add yourself as an actual admin user. Like, for instance, in the mobile app, you can't log in and interact because there has to be a delineation there from a privacy perspective. But you're able to add other agency users that can see the same dashboard that you do here as well. There's a little bit more I probably could go into, but for the purposes here of how you sign up and how you create workspaces, I think that covers the majority of it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, that is a good explanation. I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to the next question.
Sure.
Okay,
I think I went through that, but when you say pop, thanks, Joshua. When you say pop up, I'm assuming you're referring to the proactive message because that is the only thing that pops up, right? Your button that's in your corner, the only way that someone can trigger that is by clicking on the button. Now you can customize what the button looks like, and not to go down another rabbit hole, but a lot of times people will actually hide that button and they'll actually trigger it. We offer a quick area where you can add some code and you can trigger it from a button yourself. Let me just show this really quickly, Albert, because we do get this asked a lot as well. If you notice on our website, I don't know if you can, am I showing my screen still? Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
So if you click on contact us, you'll see that we have a button right here that actually pops up our contact form, right? We also have another button right here in our header, and this is really for demo purposes, frankly, but this actually is opening our meeting scheduling tool. But those are two ways we've added into our website where, that's another way of triggering the panel without doing it directly from your button. But this is always tough because everyone's website is a little different. So how you actually add that code, we can tell you, essentially where to get it. I'll just show you under panel settings. If you want to trigger the main panel, it would be right here, right? You add this code to your website, but beyond that, you'd have to know specifically how your website works with that code. So that's another way. But the only thing that pops up by itself is the proactive messages. And I think hopefully in that demo I showed you, you can absolutely add different messages to different pages.
Okay, that's good. Let's move to the next question.
Sure.
Okay, I think you have you have demoed some what I call a scenario,
Yeah, well, so the marketing agency themselves, probably, like, if you're a marketing agency, again, I'm not sure when this was submitted, so maybe you have a better understanding now, but if you still don't, A marketing agency, like you could have your own website, right? And then you could add that to your agency website and use these tools, right? If a customer is potentially wanting to work with you in a marketing capacity, I could go through each one of the tools, but hopefully you understand how maybe those would be appropriate to your agency website. But what I will say is that I think from a marketing agency perspective, there is no better tool. There is no better tool, I'm a little subjective, that exists on the market if you are an agency that either builds websites, manages, meaning makes changes to them, or markets them, because this is one tool that offers everything you need in one line of code. You're paying one person. You're not having to figure out, this is the biggest challenge, right? You could go out and probably find most of what we offer. Probably. I think there's some things that clearly are a little bit unique to us, but the problem is you're paying each one of those vendors. You're having to add multiple lines of code. If you want to make changes, you're having to, go into the back end of each one of those tools. And then the bigger issue is where do you stick those so they play well? Because as we talked about, earlier, and I'm sure most people already understand this, like you have seconds to engage someone for them to understand, going back to the virtual concierge mindset, you have seconds for someone to understand what is of value to them, what they need. That's, again, one of the challenges with chatbots, right? We all want to use them and add them to our website. I've never had a great experience with one, so it's a little tough, but it takes too much time to get to the potential value for yourself, right? They're just trying to collect information, or it's like a further engaging FAQ. But if you can't find the testimonials you need, if you can't find the announcements about what's coming up, if you can't find the way to schedule a meeting quickly within seconds, then you miss out. And so those tools, if you add them on your website, you either attach them to different parts of your website, and overwhelm and clutter your experience, or you see this a lot of times where people will add an FAQ section to their pricing page, and it does not, and again, nothing against chatbots, they're great if people use them and there's other people that promote them. It's just not obviously what we offer. But that FAQ, if somebody really needed to know those questions and you embed it on the bottom of your pricing page, what if they miss it? It's of no value to you, right? So if you are building a website for someone, here's what's so nice. All of the tools that you don't have natively, and some of them you may already have yourself, right? If you want to have a huge page of testimonials and you want to have a testimonials page, perfect. But if you don't, and you want to do this simpler for your customer, for your client, you can embed these, have them always available on any and every page on the website, but not having to build a whole bunch more pages, right? So you can focus as an agency on the content, and then there's a clear delineation on us having the tools to engage, as a tool to move and progress the relationship forward with the lead. Now, it always gets a little cloudy in terms of what engagement is versus content, yada, yada. But, you think about like the about us, right? Just an understanding. That may not necessarily help you to move the needle when it comes to relationship, but having those tools, so it allows you to focus on a beautiful, clean website that you're building, and we can do everything else for you. So it saves you time, saves them money, and it's easier to manage. That's for the management. From a marketing perspective, if you didn't build the website and they already have it, you now can have all of our tools to help them. If your goal is to help them generate more leads from their website, now you can add all of these tools within 30 minutes. You technically could do it within probably 10 or 15. I went through a lot of detail. But imagine being able to go to a customer and say, I can add all these tools to your website in one little corner for a very low price with one line of code. So that's the play, and that's why I think it's incredibly unique. I don't know of any other product, and I've looked every day for the last 5 years on the market. I don't know any other tool that in a sales and marketing capacity offers you all of those things in one area.
Thank you.
So that's not agency.
So next question is this. Okay, can you customize a CSS?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. We've looked at doing that before, and without going into a lot of detail, no. The real reason, I'd say the biggest reason, is that it just becomes incredibly difficult. What I would say is this, though. We did build this for that reason in a different way. We have 12 examples, right, of industries that you could use it in. And so we may not have every industry. It may not be your business, but you can kind of get a feel for, how you could potentially use it for a similar business, right? And so again, I won't go through all of it, but like if you are an e-commerce website, there's no tool that does everything. So there's certainly those other products that do some things better than us. But if you wanted to add Birdseed, we talk about the things that we help with, right? For that industry, things that I think we uniquely offer to your website, and then how you could use those tools for this particular industry. So as a starting point, I think this would help to give you an idea of, maybe how you could use it. If you really needed some assistance from us, we're happy to jump on a phone call with you. You can schedule a call with us. But it's ultimately, I guess, just, trying to decide what would make the most sense for your business.
Okay. I think that's
You
fair.
cannot customize the CSS, by the way, at this point. That's that question.
Okay, this is a question on this is a help desk. What they call a Health Scout is actually a help desk app, So, but HubSpot is a different animal together.
Yeah, I mean, and I just again, to put a pin in this because we talked about this earlier. If you are a SaaS, right, I think you can still use Birdseed on your website. Again, going back to what I said earlier, nothing happens until someone buys something, right? And so I would think and hope that maybe our tool can help you generate more business on your website. But within your application, there are more comprehensive tools in a support capacity, right? So there's different ways. If you are a SaaS, for instance, by design, our knowledge base tool, we call it that just so that somebody has, context, but I would say it's probably closer to an FAQ. We're not trying to be disingenuous. We try to be as upfront as possible with people. But it can be a knowledge base, right? There's knowledge, but they are questions that help in a sales and marketing capacity, right? They are, what questions do you need to have answered to help you be fully prepared and ready to buy a product or service? Now, if you are a current customer, if you offer a SaaS, including ourselves, right? If I'm trying to explain someone how to do something and I need a more comprehensive, I want to embed images of showing step-by-step, that's not our tool. Where you would use our tool, if you wanted to use our engagement panel in your SaaS, you would use our link launcher and link them to your more comprehensive knowledge base. So that is how, you would work in concert with those tools. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, but you have to think about our tool as helping you generate more business from the leads you have coming to your website.
That's nice. Okay, let's move to the next question.
By the way, let me just say something also. I think this is super important. We are so accustomed to live chat, right? We have it everywhere. People want to have live chat. But I think for most smaller businesses, live chat is disruptive, even if you offer it, it's now we have a mobile app. You can chat on the go. You can chat from anywhere. And as I talked about, you can record a video, right from there. But for most small businesses, even if you have live chat, it's hard for it to do its job. So our goal is to take pressure off of the live chat, even when it's enabled, and to offer other things when you can't be there. So just finishing that statement, because I think it's so important for someone to understand that. Like as an example, people are always like, well, add talk to my website. Well, that's great, but what if you're not there? What if you can't answer the chat? So thanks, Laura, for the question. Yes, it is a two-way integration, right? So you can block off the times in your calendar. So we will block out your availability that someone cannot see. So for instance, if someone schedules a meeting with you, that time is no longer available on the meeting scheduling. And there's a lot of other settings in there that I won't go into. But also, we then can automatically add that meeting directly to your calendar as well. Pravash, thanks for your question. Can it integrate with an iOS app? Basically, I'm looking for such a tool that can help serve. Oh, you mean like, do we offer a, what do they call it, APK? The answer is no. I wish it could, and but no, unfortunately, it cannot, Pravash. So great question, and that is not on our roadmap. How many users? 15. I mean, 15 users could be on there at once. But I mean, you know, if the Pro plan, which we're talking about here, that has 15 users and they can all use it. One workspace is essentially one account and it's $79. Can we upgrade later? So I think it's important also to point out here. I have never, even with our Birdseed, or with our deal with AppSumo back in 2019, we didn't really offer any stacking. I mean, guys, you know, I just feel like a lot of times the only way that could pencil for a business that is trying to stay in business stacking is hoping that you don't use it, right? Like 70, with everything I just showed you, for us to support it going forward for $80 forever, you know, I mean, you know, it just there. So we don't offer stacking, right? I mean, it's every account you want to add, it's $79, whether you do it through your agency dashboard or whether you purchase it yourself. We just cannot afford. You don't want us to take less. There's going to be problems on the back. Like, we want to be able to support this product for you. And I understand. I love deals. I buy a lot of AppSumo deals. I bought instantly. But I also want to do it in a healthy way. So you say upgrade later. Our top plan that we offer is our Pro plan. Now, the reason we haven't really talked about this, and we're so long that I think we're about to wrap up, but the reason why we're offering this deal is because we are about to raise our regular retail prices. That was kind of the event that triggered this. And so we wanted to give people in the lifetime deal community one chance to buy. And our thought was, if no one buys, no harm, no foul. But, you know, at least we can say we offered you something. We gave you the chance, you know. So, you know, we'll be making some changes to our free plan and what's offered. I don't know what it is right now. But the goal is to say $80 lifetime account, our top plan that we offer. If you don't want it, that's fine, but it is a limited time deal, and we will not be offering it after this. It will not be an option.
So the answer is buy now or regret later.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard because I don't want to, you know, we do not, if you are not going to use this, do not buy this, right?
Yeah,
I don't want shelfware. I hate shelfware. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I might use this down the line. If you are not thinking, or at least potentially planning on using Birdseed on your website, your landing page, your sales funnel, anything that you own to help you generate more leads, don't buy this. I don't want your $80. I do not want it. Please do not buy it. If you're not going to use it, it does nothing for me. I don't. But at the same time, I also don't want someone to feel like that I'm trying to get you to buy something and then later on, you know, I mean, it's just one of those things where if you want it now at this price, we offered our deal with AppSumo in the middle of 2019. We did not sell one code. We got asked so many times. Someone would finally see like the demo that I just did for you and like, oh my gosh, there's nothing else that exists like this. Can you please sell it to me? And we didn't offer it to anyone. So we didn't until 10 days ago. We will not after 20 days from now. It is the month of March, and that is it. We will never offer it again. So
okay,
I promise.
Fair enough. Yes.
We can't afford to.
Okay, this is something that I do not know. Go
Yeah.
to story. Do you know?
Yeah. You know, again, nothing against that team. I think their product's beautiful. And in fact, I think in many ways it's better than I think it's better than you know, Video Ask. I remember the day Video Ask came out and I thought, oh, this thing's gonna kill. It's so good. And in many ways it was kind of what we wanted to do with our product. I've got so many thoughts on this. But yes, I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful. There is a chance that we may do something like that with our user feedback tool. We have thought about so many times over the last couple of years of moving the entire product of Birdseed to more of kind of that capacity. In fact, if you're in our Facebook group about a year and a half ago, we floated the idea of kind of redesigning the entire product. But there's two things to come in play here, right? First of all, you have to be someone who is willing to be on camera or find someone to be on camera. And you saw me almost having a panic attack the first 5 minutes of this. Most people don't like to be on camera. It's unfortunate, right? Like, people are as beautiful as I am, you should be. but I mean, so if you are not planning on finding the right people, having the right people to be on camera, like, you can use our product without any video, without showing any human beings if you don't want to. So I think it's a great product. But the way those are designed most of the time, you have to have somebody visually there. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's about time, right? You have to find someone willing to go through the steps to kind of move forward, right? And program that thing to say, if this, then that. Choose that answer, choose that. I just think a lot of times, there's a study or there's a website, Swiro.com, that says people make a decision of whether or not they're going to buy from you within the first 20th of a second. In fact, that's in our presentation. But even if it's not that extreme, you may not have the time it takes in a lead generation on your website to hope that someone who really wanted to schedule a call with you will ask the right questions to get there. Time is literally money. So I think it's a great product. Frankly, I would definitely use it, including the video ask. I would definitely use it in a different capacity. If I have current customers or current leads, I would send that to them. And those people who are interested would be willing to interact with it and move forward. But you have to think about your website as, if they can't get it immediately, you run the risk. So that's why our product has stayed the same way from a user experience. And I don't think we'll be making any changes immediately. And also, why we don't look exactly like that. Let me point out one other thing. Sorry. I know there's so much stuff here. Again, I appreciate anyone who is still on. I appreciate your time, Albert. You see a lot of products copying video ask these days. Well, I won't say copying. They're very similar to video ask, right? Here's the thing. I would point out two things. Now, I'm saying this subjectively because we did it differently. But I would ask you this. If you have a button that has a video that is constantly playing on your website and you can't turn it off, how distracting would that be to you after a while, right? Like, to me, I'm like, just hide. Like, it's almost the point where after a couple minutes, I'd probably like, I'm just going to leave the website, right? So that's why you'll notice with our button, we don't offer it where it can have a GIF or a short video playing, because I just find it's a little bit obtrusive. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when it comes to video, right? When it comes to showing the video there, our proactive message, it can pop up, not with sound, but it can pop up, but that person can close it. It can automatically close. It can be gone. And so you can move on with your experience, which I think is crucial, right? So when it comes to the experience of the video, you want to be able to get rid of it if you don't want it there as a visitor. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this is just our mindset, is that I'm sure it's working for video ask for sure. But if I go to a website, again, as a visitor, I would rather just text you something. I would rather just send you something. For the majority of people, I don't need to send you a video. So that is why we have chosen at this point to not include like two-way video. Your goal as the company selling a product or service, you owe them something, right? You are trying to sell them something. So as an operator, that's why I'm able to create and send a video in a live chat and not the other way around at this point. Now, by the way, last thing, you can also use canned responses and trigger the ability for someone to jump into a live video chat. I think there are times where it's absolutely appropriate. There's product like Whereby where you can have a free static room, right? So it's always the same link triggered by your canned response, where if and when it's appropriate, you can jump into a quick video almost similar to like this, except for not, on Facebook Live, right? But I think that video can be important. So that's why we really have not, we've been very intentional, strategic about the way we've designed Birdseed to operate as a product on your website.
Yeah, I think that explains, your strategy. So, okay, this question say that, follow-up
Yeah.
email after a live chat,
Yep. So every user on the system can get an email for a live chat, right? I think I know how you're answering this. So So one scenario is the live chat happened. Another scenario is if it didn't happen, right? Meaning nobody responded to the live chat. Like a lot of times you see with other kind of persistent chat products. Ours is not persistent chat. That'd be a totally separate conversation. But if the chat happened, you can get, as the user, right, yourself, you can get a transcript of that sent directly. You will get a transcript sent to yourself. You can also add other emails to CC on that. And then, of course, if their email was included, it will be set as the reply, so you could respond to the chat if you want to kind of continue the conversation. Also, if the conversation took place, we are integrated with 3 platforms: Zapier, Integrately, and Pabbly Connect now. So we do not directly interact with anything, right, directly, right, through those 3 platforms, almost any product that exists. The reason why is because our product has 6 different triggers, 6 different tools, and they're all used potentially in sales, marketing, and support. It would be very difficult to build and very time consuming to build direct. So we wanted to build relationships with those platforms that you can send, your support requests, your new leads, your new marketing opportunities someplace else. So if you have a CRM like Zoho, which is what we have, you could send that right to Zoho and then follow up right after, with Zoho if you tag that transcript a certain way. If you're asking if you missed the chat, you will see that we have I didn't go into the settings because it'd be a separate conversation, but in the settings, you have a countdown timer. Let's say you set that at 60 seconds, whatever you feel like is appropriate. After that countdown timer ends, there is then another screen that they're prompted to say, so sorry we missed it. You can have another short video apologizing or saying, here's what we'll do to get back in touch with you. And then you can collect additional information. So that will then be added to the transcript after the fact if they provided. So on the front end, if you wanted to reduce your friction by just asking for a first name, but you go, oh man, the concern is I'm not there, I don't get additional information. At the end of that countdown, you can have a name, right? You can have a video that says, I'm so sorry, please just provide this. We'll follow up to you today or with you today, and then collect that information and then follow up.
Okay,
I hope that makes sense.
I think that's very clear.
Yep.
Let's move on to I think you have to clarify this one.
Yeah, so the agency is not an account, right? It's an agency dashboard. You're not creating an account at all. You are when you sign up, you are creating an agency dashboard in which you can then create and add accounts to it. So when you sign up for your agency dashboard, that's just your way of managing, viewing, accessing your accounts. So, and I know, and I understand why people ask it this way. I completely get it. So many products, they have sub accounts. And so we are not a sub account. If you look at it like you have one account and then your sub accounts, we go the other direction where your agency controls your accounts. We're set up in that regard. So from your agency dashboard, you can then add as many accounts as you want to. I think after we have some people have a lot of accounts, and after like 15, it goes to multiple pages. So you can see them all really easily.
Okay. Yeah, I that's why I want you to clarify that,
Completely understand. Yeah, I appreciate your question, Fan.
Okay, I think we have answered most of the question. So let's take this last question before we go to the giveaway draw.
Yeah, the answer is no. Like for instance, on our website, right? We use Zoho. I just think it's the best all-in-one product, and I've constantly looked. I use Salesforce for almost 10 years. Salesforce is wonderful, but it gets incredibly expensive, and then you start adding in other. Anyhow, so we send right to Zoho, and we have a multi-step zap. We pay $20 a month ourselves, and we probably could even use, well, no, we couldn't use a free plan. The free plan gives you 100, but we're using multi-step. So when someone submits a contact form, right, it comes into Zoho, creates the contact. It then creates a contact in Zoho Desk, and then creates a ticket in Zoho Desk that we can follow up with. So yeah, and I'm sure I probably could do, I believe Pabbly Connect has a one-time price. We've been set up with it. So yeah, we have 6 different triggers for each of those. So any form that comes in, live chat either before or after, right? So for instance, if you want to be notified in Slack real time, for a call request or live chat. Both of those triggers are there. Meeting request or a scheduled meeting, email capture, contact form. I think that's everything. Yeah. So that's how it works.
Okay.
Thank you all so much for staying on. I apologize for the meltdown at the beginning. Too much coffee, and appreciate you giving me some time to go through it.
Yeah, I mean, Drew can actually talk for another hours if you want, but then I think it's too long. But I appreciate
Once
that,
you get me
because,
going,
because if we still have any other question that not answered, please write in the chat box, not write in the not the chat box, write in the group messages. Then we'll see whether Drew will come back and answer it. So but we have to close it. Before we close, we actually have to do a draw. So today's Facebook Live draw will be one LTD prize. If you don't win this prize, you have another 3 chances. So you can comment on the post in our official discussion thread. Then we will actually announce it next week. So there will be actually 4 prizes altogether. So today we will draw the 1 prize for attendees. So I will actually put all the names here. Hold on. Let me get all the names. Copy. Okay, guys, please see whether your names are there. If your names are not there, please put in the chat box. I can add it in, because sometimes it's very difficult to, to copy and paste all the name. I hope I have covered all the name, but sometimes I actually miss, because it's actually quite difficult to put the names from the chat box into this what they call wheels of name. Suresh, don't be sad, if you don't win, because this is the famous wheels of name, and a lot of people like it and a lot of people don't like it. But this is just a pure what they call luck, but best person will win actually, so don't worry, we have many chances. So if there's no objection on your names are not there, I will shuffle this 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and I will spin once. Okay, let's go. So the winner will be chosen from here, and tomorrow I will post a what I call official announcement after this. Okay, let's go. Oh, Steve Bessler. Congratulations.
congrats.
So Steve,
Spinning
if
time.
you're around, please what I call write in the chat box, so that you can claim this prize, or else we have to move on, to spin one more time if you are not around.
You make them stay till the end. Oh, geez. Now I feel even worse. People are like, way to stay through the panic attack,
Okay,
and
Steve,
you
you're
just talked
around.
forever about
So
everything. I didn't
sorry,
realize
guys,
that.
Steve is there. Congratulations, Steve. So let's move on. Okay, before we close, I would like to do some wrap up. Actually, Birdseed, after this demo and tutorial, I actually get to know better what a Birdseed can do. So just as what Drew has said earlier, much earlier, you must have different kind of food for different kind of birds, so they come into your website. So choose your food properly, and you have to optimize it. Maybe do some A/B test or whatever you want to do. So if you are happy with this, you can always buy this, and this is the link. Okay, for your information, the deal will close by before April. I mean, end of this month, right, Drew?
Last day of the month. Yep. And just so
Okay.
everyone knows, as an incentive to buy it earlier, we are from the last day of the sale, it'll be 30 days, right? So you have the month of April as a refund period. If you purchase earlier, you get a longer time to evaluate our product and see if it'll be a fit for you. So that's the incentive to purchasing it earlier, is that, it's basically extended back from there. So everyone will, I would say it's a 30-day refund period, but everyone gets till the end of April. So if you buy today, you actually get 50 days to evaluate it. And again, if it doesn't work for you, I completely understand. Certainly happy to help. You can go out and probably find a number of what we offer. It just, you have to figure out where to put them. But yeah, I appreciate your time.
Okay. So thank you, Drew. And I would like to say a big thank you to the audience as well, because I think they have stayed, almost 2 hours, with us,
Oh my
20
gosh.
over of them. Really appreciate that, So guys, can you give a thumbs up to Drew as well as also to yourself, click the thumbs up in the Facebook group.
Thanks, guys. And gals, I really appreciate it and apologize for taking so long. But if you're still here, I can assure you, you know more about birdseed than many people. And, hopefully it gives you a little more context as to the thoughts behind things.
Okay, that's all tonight for tonight, and we see you again in the next session. Just for your information, tomorrow night at 10 p.m. UTC +8, we will have our first ever member spotlight webinar. His name is Henry Wan, and he is an expert in market research techniques. So he has been running a successful market research company in Malaysia, and tomorrow he will tell you how to do market research the right way. What are the techniques that you should use? So stay tuned, and hopefully you will come back, to attend this webinar tomorrow. So with this, I will just end this, and hopefully that you have good health and good fortune. Thank you, Andrew, again. One more, not Andrew, sorry. Thank you, Drew, again, for your fantastic demo. Bye bye.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take care.